The Rizzuto Show on 105.7 The Point.
All right, welcome back to the Rizz Show. 314-969-DUDE, 314-969-3833. And how about this? We have a real-life movie star in here. Look at this guy over here. I know you can't see him, but I can see him.
Please be seated.
Mr. Kevin Pollak is here, star of stage and screen. Kevin Pollak. This guy's been in everything.
Yep.
Are you the guy, like, you're walking down the street and people go, I know you from somewhere. You're in...
I'm sure that's meant as a compliment.
No, it is.
That question.
Because you've been in so many things.
Right.
I mean,
right. And yet the person who approaches me has no idea.
But they know
It's sort of the premise of your...
Are you a family member? I mean, I've seen you so many damn times. Are we related somehow?
Wow. Again, I'm sure in your mind this is a compliment.
This is a very big compliment.
All right.
I just called you a movie star.
Yeah. And then went on to obscurity.
Stop that.
All right.
Stop that. You know you've been in everything. Do you fancy yourself a comedian or an actor?
First of all, I don't fancy myself. I masturbate instead. I was a comedian first.
Yeah.
Who I then moved to L.A. and went on hundreds of auditions until I got something, and then a lot more somethings happened. I don't know how many movies I've actually been in, 78, but I will say that 6 of them are very, very good.
They're all good, man.
No.
You've been in some classics.
No. You've not seen all of them. I have been in several very big, favorable films.
Favorable films,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. But out of 78, yeah, there's a lot of filler.
What's the dud?
There's a lot of filler.
What's the one movie you've been
I
in?
can't. I can't even answer that because every time I make fun of one of them, somebody comes up and says, "That's my favorite movie, man." And let's get rid of those people.
It's awesome.
First of all,
Those idiots, right?
yeah.
Because obviously they have no taste. No,
That's right.
what's the one movie you thought was going to be huge and just...
Well, that happens all the time. You say yes for all the right reasons. You just as a gun for hire, you have control over nothing. Even your own performance is completely controlled in the editing bay. So, because you do multiple takes from different angles, and they cut it together however they want. So, there was a movie called Joanna Man, and when I signed up...
Oh, I know that movie.
Yeah. So when I said yes to that, Will Smith was the star of the film. So imagine that movie starring Will Smith.
Right.
Potentially better, I'm
And
just
that
going to
was
say.
that was the movie where the guy was the basketball player. Like
Yeah,
he's dressed as a woman's basketball player.
Well, he's a big star in the NBA, but he's a smart-ass jerk.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to control my language. And is thrown out of the NBA.
Yeah.
And then he works his way back in drag through the WNBA.
Right.
Again, hilarious premise.
Have you guys seen this movie?
I have.
You know what? I enjoy the movie.
In the hands of Will Smith. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right. So that's when I said yes to the script and the project, and then not so much.
And then you show up on set, and it's
no Will
some
Smith.
other guy.
The actor's name is not Will Smith.
Well, who was the actor that played?
His name is
Miguel Nunez.
Jr., in fact.
Yeah.
Has he been in much since?
I think we've made the point already. I think that's us driving past the point now.
See a point.
It did
Bye-bye.
make $14 million, though.
It did? All right.
It really did.
Well, that should be an opening week. That'd be a horrible opening weekend.
But it only cost $15 million to make.
for most films.
Right. All right. Well, that you don't take the burden on your shoulders for that.
Well, no,
that
as a
movie.
character actor who's barely recognized on the street, according to you.
No, I said actually
When you were walking in the hall, he's like, "Is that Kevin Pollak? I don't know. I don't recognize him."
recognized all the time.
Yeah, not in your story.
But I said, you're the guy that's been in so many things. You're a friend. You're a friend. I have a friend in the studio now. You've been in so many things. I grew up, but you were my father.
I appreciate
You've been in so many movies. Like you
Friend
raised
who
me.
he alienated within the first 9 seconds. But still, what a joy.
My dad said that he left too. Okay, so Kevin Pollak's at Helium
Proud.
Comedy Club. He's got 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow.
Regardless of the weather, much like the Postal Service, I will make my appointed rounds and be on stage for 2 shows tonight.
It was at 7:30 and
10. Yeah, and tomorrow night.
And Helium's a great club, by the way.
It is.
There in Brentwood.
I did a show last night. Snuck in and did a show, and it was great, phenomenal. Great.
Yeah, it's a great show. Great people over there, and
It's true.
And I'm trying to get beyond insulting him. I'm trying to get beyond insulting him. So you've been doing the comedy thing. You started doing comedy, and then you got into movies.
That's right.
Was this a conscious thing? I mean, did you want to be in show business your whole life growing
Yes.
up? What was the plan?
That was it. There was
Really?
no other plan. Yeah, no, I was a natural-born ham and performing in front of people by age 10, lip-syncing comedy albums, and, there was no looking back, ever. I mean, most of the people who signed my yearbook in high school said, you're going to be in show business.
Were you the class clown?
Absolutely. But it was a foregone conclusion. There was no runner-up.
Right.
There was the idiot and then everyone else. So, yeah, I mean, I went to college and graduated in 9 months. My friends call it dropping out. But to me, I chose a school of hard knocks and a profession. I was already performing in clubs by the time I was 18.
So you knew what you wanted to do. So why'd you go to college? Because it was the thing?
It was the thing. And that's why I lasted. Well, I hated school because the teachers were bored, so I was bored. And then when I got to college, it seemed like high school with ashtrays. And again, because my chosen profession was laid out for me, there was no reason to stay.
We had that conversation the other day where, these kids get out of high school and the thing to do is go to college. And they get out of college with just an enormous amount of debt. And the stat was what? You're not going to pay off
You'll
everything?
be out from under your debt. The average student that goes now won't be out from that debt until they're 35.
Nice. Yeah, if you know what you want to do with your life, pursue that with everything in your being. And university may not be the path to get to that trade.
Right.
It will be your chosen profession.
Well, I went to school for a semester and a half. Mm-hmm. And if I would have stayed in school, I think I would have a lot of opportunity would have passed by.
Sure.
And I wouldn't be talking to Kevin Pollak now in St. Louis.
Well, I think one of the points he's making
Are you sure that you're in fact talking
the
to
alleged
Kevin Pollak?
Kevin
Or
Pollak.
that one guy that's spending all that
It
stuff.
looks like him with the hat on.
It seems like what you did was you gave yourself no safety net, therefore you just had to make it.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I work on a movie or whatever, and there's younger, new actors and they have questions, or stand-up comedians starting out, and they want advice. It's always, are you ready to give your life to this? Because that's what it's going to take.
Full-on commitment.
Yeah, but that's true, I think, in any profession these days. Are you ready to give your life to it?
You have to.
Yeah.
And having no backup plan, I think that's the way to go. Because then you can't rest on, I got a backup plan. Like, this is it. Mm-hmm. Like, if I don't make it, I am screwed. So I'm going to scratch and claw my way to what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you have to need the profession. You have to. I can't live without this. Sort of. That needs to be your focus.
So you go to college for 9 months, and you're still doing the stand-up thing, and you drop out of school. Your parents disappointed?
No, because again, I was already working as a comedian. So they were just supportive from the beginning. They just thought they couldn't believe this annoying little ham bone growing up, was actually going to make a living. That was just such great news to them.
And wasn't it such a relief when you stopped going to school and you're like, all right, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. Here we go.
I was 18.
The rest of my life.
So I was also smoking pot all day.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
I think like from 13 to 22. I think I smoked pot every day.
And that didn't hinder your performances?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm sure it slowed me down considerably. But I can't. Even though I knew what my chosen profession would be, I was still a kid, and more than capable of screwing off and being an idiot. So once I really focused my life, as you say, this is what my life is going to be. I was probably 21, 22. Take on the profession full time and no looking back.
And what was the big break for you? I mean, listen, there's skill and there's luck involved.
Absolutely.
In this whole thing. So what was the big break for you?
Well, the first movie of note I did was Willow, that Ron Howard directed, George Lucas produced. And then after that, Avalon, which was a Barry Levinson movie. He had just won all the awards for Rain Man, and it was his third Baltimore set film. That sort of put me on the map as a dramatic actor.
But to get into Willow, I mean, this is a big movie, a big budget movie. I mean, did you just, all right, I got an agent, and my agent says to go on this audition, and I'm just going to give it a shot. And
actually, it was another comedian, Rick Overton, who had already worked for Ron Howard in a movie, and we played these two characters in Willow, the Brownies, sort of the comic relief R2-D2 C3PO sidekicks, right, on this adventure. And so Ron Howard said to Rick Overton, I need you to pick 5 guys that you can improvise with. We'll have them come in one at a time, and you'll improvise with each one of them separately, and we'll see where the chemistry is, and then you guys will be the brownies. So he was, confident enough to put me on that short list of 5. I am eternally grateful, and I got the job.
And what was your first audition like? Was it in a room? Was it in front of Ron Howard?
It was in front of Ron Howard, improvising with Rick Overton, yeah. And then my favorite moment, because George Lucas produced the film, my dad came to visit the set, and I introduced my dad to George Lucas, and he said, sounding much like Homer Simpson, I really loved E.T. He said that to George Lucas.
Not his movie.
Yeah, so that was a great moment.
Did you just put your hand on your
face? But then, A Few Good Men in 1992 was certainly the crossover point from having to audition to getting offers, and that was about 70 movies ago.
That's amazing. It was that one was that early because you are so amazing in that movie. You seem
like you
fit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You seem like you belonged already.
Well, yeah, whoever did that part, they're surrounded by famous people, right? And if they... And, that character was sort of written by the great Aaron Sorkin. We didn't know that then. To be the conscience of the whole story. And so, looking after the little guy being picked on. So it was kind of a standout part no matter who did it. And then I was just fortunate enough. I was doing a TV project for Rob Reiner just before that, a thing that he and Christopher Guest had created. And it was because I was in Rob's face every day working on that while he was casting A Few Good Men. So there's that lucky break.
Yeah, lucky you're working with Rob Reiner.
Yeah, and he waved his finger in my face and said, I'm going to direct this movie. It was a Broadway play called A Few Good Men. I got Tom Cruise. I think we're going to get Nicholson. And you, Kevin, would be perfect to play Tom's best friend and co-counsel. Mm-hmm. I've got an offer out to Jason Alexander, but if Seinfeld gets picked up for a second season, he won't be available.
So he was the first choice?
Yeah, yeah. And then I went home and started praying nonstop for Seinfeld
getting picked up.
And it worked out great for Jason Alexander and myself.
And for you.
Yeah.
And your first day on set with Jack Nicholson, was it?
First of all, there was rehearsal first with Tom Cruise and Demi Moore, and I was in Rob Reiner, the director. So, famous people everywhere. And I really was in over my head within 9 seconds. And Tom Cruise, big movie star, treated me like an equal from second one. The moment I arrived, he treated me like an equal, which is just being a professional. That's what you're supposed to do. But I didn't expect it, and it wasn't even necessary. But he so much treated me like an equal that it only took a couple of hours for the stand-up comedian in me to come out. Mm-hmm. And next thing I know, I'm busting chops on Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Because he's made the mistake of making me feel welcome.
Yeah.
And
so
now,
you're loose.
Now he must pay the price.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I was giving him grief and it was ridiculous. I mean, intimidating as hell, the whole thing. But when someone diffuses it like that, it was really helpful. But with Nicholson, I just left him alone.
Is he a serious guy all the time?
Nope. That's what I expected. And I figured someone that cool to 5 generations.
Yeah.
Not even sure how the math works, but it's true. I thought he would be aloof, There's Jack over there. You'd have to talk about him, not to him. But he was the most gregarious. He was a goofball. He was silly.
He would walk up to people, just walk around, just walk up to people.
He loves being Jack Nicholson. I mean, this is 25 years ago. But he was exceptional at being Jack Nicholson.
Him?
Yes.
And you
silly and goofy and fun. Like, I was so intimidated. The first thing that happens in the morning, you go in the makeup and hair truck. It's a big trailer with half dozen barber chairs. Right? And you go in the morning, and I would walk in, and I would see Nicholson sitting in one of the barber chairs. And I would go to the other end, leave him alone, give him his space, right?
Yeah, it's almost like going up to a urinal, and you got to leave enough space.
That's right.
If there's one take, and you got to go to the farthest end.
That's exactly right. It's just like going to a urinal. On the set of A Few Good Men in a makeup and hair trailer with
Jack
barber
Nicholson.
chairs. It was exactly like going to a urinal.
I'm going to keep quiet.
So I would
Kevin
leave.
Pollak telling a story.
I would leave. Great analogy, just super. I would leave Jack alone, and Kiefer Sutherland's in the movie a couple of scenes. And he would. I noticed he had no problem walking right up to Jack first thing in the morning and asking, hey, Jack, you want to grab a beer after work today? And Nicholson would turn around and go, that sounds great, Keith. What time do you suppose that ought to be? And I would think, damn, that looked easy. He just walked up to him and started talking. But I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it?
No. I mean, we talked because he would start the conversation, and then it was all lovely and wonderful.
But he would have to.
I just didn't want to bug him. I mean, I know we're co-stars, but I just I didn't want to leave him alone.
I get the same way around like sports figures around. St. Louis, it's a big small town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I get very intimidated around sports figures. Like if I see,
well, they're larger than life.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
My heroes, and I can't.
Right.
I can't muster up the courage to. I'm starstruck.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, I was here for games 3, 4, and 5 when the Redbirds beat the unbeatable Tigers in the World Series as a guest of Tony La Russa, who I'd been friends with for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So I've enjoyed the ocean of red.
Right, the sea of red, yes.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you would have loved the Winter Classic here.
Yeah, I'll bet.
A couple weeks ago. It was, instead of the sea of red at Busch Stadium, it was all blue.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
It must have been.
It was really amazing.
I'm going to name drop the great Jon Hamm plays in my weekly poker game on occasion.
St. Louis's own Jon Hamm. That's he's
native
referred to
son.
as St. Louis's own Jon Hamm.
That's how he refers to himself.
Yes,
by the way. He does.
Hi guys.
No, that's how I found out about because he was here obviously for the Winter Classic. And he played at the game just prior to that, and he was unbelievably excited about coming here for that game.
Yeah, he is the ambassador for St. Louis.
Couldn't be
worldwide.
prouder.
Yeah.
Told me a great story about because there was a picture that got around with him with a Cubs hat on.
Yeah, at Wrigley.
Yeah, and he explained the story. It was not actually at Wrigley. It was at a party, and someone, he said he was at this party and he was wearing the Redbird hat. Mm-hmm. And at a Chicago Cub party after they won Game 5, when they were down 3-1, and it was pretty much over. Mm-hmm. And Bill Murray looked at the St. Louis hat and grabbed it off of his head and threw it out the window. And Hamm laughed and then went outside and got his hat and came back into the party. And then Eddie Vedder, who's suddenly everyone's favorite Cub fan,
not a fan, huh?
Get over yourself.
No, right.
Oh, please. Was like crowd surf, right? So he jumped out over Eddie Vedder out over this crowd and said to Hamm, "You're next." And Hamm said, "Not with this hat on. I'm not going over the Cub fans. They're going to
kill you.
Kidney punch me the whole way." So Vedder took off his Cub hat, put it on John's head, and then John crowd surfed. So that's how he ended up with a Cub hat on.
Yeah, the World Series, the Cardinal hat apparently was his dad's World Series hat from years ago.
Right.
And Bill Murray threw it into an alleyway.
Yeah.
And he had to go out and find it.
Wow.
Fight other fans that were out in the alleyway for this hat. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I read that you have this big poker game. I guess you're a big poker player, and you have all these celebrities come over. Is it to your house?
It's my house. There's an occasional celebrity. It's mostly normal people, and then occasionally someone famous will play. But that's the thing. You sit around a poker table, and everybody's just another guy at the table. There's no special treatment for
everybody's
people.
money's green. Is it big money?
No, it's not big money. It's all relative. To some people it might be big money, but I know there's a lot of much bigger games.
How much
in Los Angeles?
How much are we
it's
all
like a
put in?
$500 buy-in. It's nothing.
That's a lot of money.
Okay. All right. Well,
movie stars.
Again, like I said, it's all
it's relative. Yeah.
It's all relative. There's other games you got to buy in for $10,000. So to me, 500 seems like chump change.
Yeah. Remember that whole thing with Ben Affleck? Used to do these underground poker games. Were you involved in that?
I've played in underground, you so-called speakeasy, poker speakeasies,
yes.
They called them. They popped up around 10 years ago. Played in a bunch of them. I played with Ben. He's a great poker player.
Yeah, and you actually were in the World Series of Poker.
I've actually, they tell me I cashed out higher than any celebrity yet.
And
it was 2012. I out of 6,740 players, I finished 134.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, late day 5, fell to Daniel Negreanu on camera at the featured table, the main table they use for the
You're gonna lose to somebody.
final table.
It's that guy.
Oh, I knocked him out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, which, by the way, is a great story if you're a poker player and you're aware of Daniel Negreanu, one of the best players in the world. But at the time when it happened, it actually messed me up. It was like beating your old man in the driveway 101 basketball for the first time. It feels great, and then you're kind of freaked out about it.
Yeah. What did I do?
How did I beat this hero? Yeah. because you're acutely aware of your own tournament life at that point.
Yeah.
Trying desperately to survive.
Yeah.
So when you end someone else's tournament life, if it's someone you look up to and admire, you don't feel good about it.
You felt bad about it, huh?
I did. Yeah, I did. I mean, I had no choice. I had to go in because of the cards I had. I had ace queen, I think, and he had king queen, which we found out. I didn't know at the time, but he had just got knocked pretty badly in a hand, like the one or two hands right before.
And you kind of swept in and
I
finished it up.
felt like he was
vulnerable.
Yeah, well, he pushed all in early, and I felt like he was what they say on tilt. They call on tilt a little, and wasn't represent. But sure enough, he had king queen suited, which is great starting cards. But he was short stacked, so.
Well, I remember about 10 years ago, it was poker was huge. I mean, the World Series of Poker was on ESPN, and everybody was playing poker at home, and I was playing poker with friends. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go up to the casino myself, and I'm going to go up play for the first time ever.
Can I predict what happened?
Go ahead.
You
killed and took everybody's money.
Yeah, you bought in and lasted between 7 and 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes it took me. And because I was sweating, and these guys ate me alive. Ate me alive.
I was sweating.
So confident. I sweat through my shirt.
Sure. It is the most exhilarating thing you'll ever do.
And, you got these guys that they put on the sunglasses. I mean, the guy, and I understand when real poker players do it. It's a whole psych out thing, and you don't want anybody to see your eyes. But they're the guys that play at home, and they go up to the casino. They get a pair of shades to put on because they think they're a poker player.
That's right.
And they get killed like I did because they sweat through their shirts.
Well, you're playing against professionals. They may not be known pros on the tour, but they play at that casino every single day. They're grinders, and they wait for you or me to come in out of the cold and sit down full of sweat. It's what they live for.
Yeah.
There's 9 seats at the table mostly, and 8 of those 9 seats are grinders, just waiting for
for the victim to
and then they look at each other because they size you up when you sit down. Not that they're giving signals; they don't need to. They just have a huge advantage.
Their signal for me was when I walked up my little chip tray and I was like, "Hey, fellas!"
Yeah,
"Hey, fellas!" And they're all licking their lips as I get destroyed.
You sit down and go, "Are you guys playing Pass the Trash?"
Kevin Pollak's here. He's at the Helium Comedy Club. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. Yes, he will be there tonight. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever. He's playing tonight.
Yeah, rock salt, whatever you got, throw it at me.
Yeah. You guys have to move on? Oh, really, huh? Yeah. Is it that bad out already? That's what I'm hearing. Oh, boy. Sorry. You're fine.
What are you hearing?
From Mark, it's a maybe.
Oh. Well, we'll let you listen.
I will be at the club regardless.
If it happens,
I don't care what the weather is.
In the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, there's a shuttle at the hotel that will take me to the club, and I will be there. Even if the staff doesn't show up, I'll be doing a show in the parking lot.
That's a pro right there. Because he's got nothing else to do,
That's
honestly.
exactly right.
Can you hang out for a couple more minutes? Can
Yes,
you hang out through
I
a commercial
can.
break? Because I want to do some celebrity news.
Whatever
real
you
quick
want.
After this, great. Kevin Pollak's here. All right, welcome back to the Rizz Show. Kevin Pollak is here. He is at Helium Comedy Club this weekend. A couple shows tonight, a couple shows tomorrow. Very nice man.
Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, even though I insulted you the first 3 seconds you were here, but that's cool. All right, time to find out what's going on in the world of music and entertainment with your crap on celebrities.
It's brought to you by Southern Armory. Concealed classes are forming now. You can register at southernarmory.com.
All right.
There is a former HBO employee just got sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for submitting more than $1 million in fake hair and makeup bills to the company. Jennifer Choi is her name.
Jennifer?
I don't.
Okay, well,
I
that's
thought
good.
all you show
better
business people
separate
know each
yourself from her.
Well, a former HBO employee is about 64,000 people.
Right.
Well, she worked for the company for about 10 years in the talent relations department. Part of her job, scheduling appointments for actors for hairstyling and wardrobe, makeup. And this is where she went rogue. She set up a company called Shiny Gloss LLP, started submitting fake invoices, and a lot of them. About 300 phony bills totaling just under $1 million.
I tip my hat. It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, how do you think you're going to get away with that? Like somebody's going to miss when $1 million is missing, somebody's going to look for it.
But it's not missing. You say, how do you think you're going to get away with this? I bet you this is happening and we don't know about it because they are getting away with it.
I think you got to factor in one very important component. Criminals, idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are not the super intelligent percentage.
She probably got away with it once or twice, and had a little taste.
And then you get hooked. Yeah.
She wasn't like just there for a little while. She was there for 10 years. She worked on The Sopranos, The Wire, Veep, True Blood, Boardwalk Empire, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Entourage. So she was around some big name actors, and she would actually use their real names and submit the bills. Wow. So she got away with it for a while, but she's going to jail now. A bunch of celebrities, some audio, got together to they're still showing their disdain for Donald Trump being your president-elect. And the way they decided to do it, Natalie Portman, Emma Stone, Amy Adams, Matthew McConaughey, Chris Pine, and a whole bunch more decided to do their version of Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive.
Yeah, I love when we protest in song version. That's my
Go
favorite.
on now, go.
Walk out the door. Just turn around now.
Because you're not welcome anymore.
Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye?
Did you think I'd crumble?
Do you think...
Who's the one that really tried to sing there? It's so funny. Everybody's got no voice, and then somebody tried to sing.
That sounds like Emma Stone.
Oh, yeah?
I'd lay down and die?
Oh, no, not I. I will survive.
Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive.
I've got all my life to live.
And I've got all my love to give.
Somebody had
This
laryngitis?
is only going to be impressive if you can see them. Just listening to it is not impressive.
Well,
at
the
all.
video is on the blog. I know you'll be checking the blog later.
You know what
so
I
can
mean?
check
Just
it out.
listening to it
I'm
is
sure if I
wildly
saw it-
underwhelming.
I'm sure if I saw it, I would not be impressed either.
That'd be the only way, though.
Madonna.
Unless the chicks were topless when they did it. I would not be impressed.
They are not.
at
I've seen
all.
the video, and unfortunately.
No, I mean, even to make fun of, it would be helpful to know who was singing
Yeah.
what.
Oh, yeah, different parts, yeah. Madonna is going to be attending the Women's March on Washington next week. She announced her participation yesterday.
No one cares.
Women's, all right. The yacht that Rodney Dangerfield commanded in the 1980 movie Caddyshack is up for sale if you want to check that out.
What was the yacht called?
It was called the Big Dog.
In the movie, it was called.
Yeah, in the Big Dog. Sorry, in the movie, it was called the Big Dog. $129,000 for the thing. The owner says that it is still red, white, and blue. It is named Big Dog. The owner says it is a 60-foot nautical piece. It is the same one in the movie, but unlike Rodney Dangerfield, the anchor is not scratched. Is what because he says that in the
You
in
put
the
it through
actual
the judge's boat.
You were talking about this new movie called Raw. That you saw the trailer for this thing.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously incredible, and it's weird, it's creepy, it's gross. There's a Red Band trailer, and there's a For All Audiences trailer, and it's up on the blog. But this thing is crazy. It's a French horror movie, teenage vegetarian, and she acquires a taste for raw meat, and then things just go crazy
And then
from there.
she becomes a cannibal.
She becomes a cannibal, starts eating everybody. It's ridiculous. It's going to be in the U.S. Theaters March 10th, and you can see it on the blog if you'd like.
Back to Caddyshack for a second.
Yes.
You a fan?
Sure, of
Caddyshack,
course.
one of
Of
the
course.
greatest comedies of all
Absolutely.
time. What is the greatest comedy of all time, movie-wise, in your opinion?
I
I know it's hard to narrow down.
It's
to one,
impossible.
but what are some of your
I mean, the
favorites?
In-Laws to me, that's a personal favorite. But Groundhog Day, the first Vacation movie. Oh boy, it's just so many. My brain is locked up.
It's hard to come up with one. Any Mel Brooks fan?
Yeah, Young Frankenstein, you can't beat
Blazing
that.
Saddles.
Yeah, Young
Stripes, if
Frankenstein.
you're a Caddyshack fan, you're a Stripes fan?
Stripes, huge, through the
Yeah.
roof, all-time favorite.
What about music? What kind of music you like?
I'm an indie
Death
rock
metal?
guy. I'm a big indie rock guy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We've established he's not a Pearl Jam fan.
That's true.
Is it the music or is it the singer?
It's the poser aspect of the main jerk.
See, I love Pearl Jam still.
You grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a generational
Like that was
thing.
right in my wheelhouse. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
if it
Nirvana.
feeds into when you're experiencing that sort of screw the man,
Sure.
angst of a teenager, it tapped right into it beautifully.
Yeah, it was angsty.
If you're older, then you just see another poser coming up the ranks.
Yeah.
And I did a project I mentioned with Christopher Guest, and he plays 11 different instruments. Brilliant
Yeah,
musician.
that's my favorite dude.
Yeah. So in the 60s, when Jim Morrison hit, all the serious, talented musicians thought Jim Morrison was a
Poser.
pretty boy poser, a horrible, horrible songwriter. And Christopher Guest had this theory that if Jim Morrison had lived, he'd be doing radio jingles. So, I'm trying to think of one, Ernie's Liquors. That sort of thing.
Right. That's funny. Hey, if you want to see Christopher Guest at his best, watch A Mighty Wind, which I think is very underrated. Maybe not a lot of people saw that.
Fantastic.
He's at his
but
best
A Mighty Wind is
every
one
single
of the
time.
best.
Waiting for Guffman. Best in Show.
Yeah,
Waiting for Guffman.
His new one, by the way, I highly recommend on Netflix.
Mascots.
Hilarious.
It is incredible.
It's instantly one of his best films.
I haven't seen
I
that.
beg of you to see it.
I will see that.
It's awesome.
See it before the film that I directed that's on Netflix called The Late Bloomer. A wonderful comedy.
Which is about?
Well, we'll talk about it when you're done with this section.
I'm pretty much done.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's based on a true story about a guy who doesn't go through puberty until the age 30. So, yes, in the second act, there's a masturbation montage. But the point is...
What?
Holy hell. I had no idea. I watched that last month. During the Christmas break, I watched that.
And please tell everyone how much you enjoyed it.
It's hysterical. It's fantastic. It really is.
I directed that film.
This is the guy that's he's the sex therapist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
J.K. Simmons, Maria Bello, Jane Lynch, Kumail Nanjiani, Beck Bennett, Brittany Snow, Ken
It's
Marino.
amazing, Rizz. It's great.
Yeah.
I
hate everything.
What's the guy's name that's also in Silicon Valley?
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani.
That he's
Him and Beck Bennett from SNL, they play the two best friends.
The two best friends. They are great in this movie. It is fantastic.
All right.
That's so funny.
I got Jack White to do the song for the opening credits.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. Today's crappy birthdays. These are all celebrities celebrating a birthday this weekend. Orlando Bloom is 40. Patrick Dempsey, 51. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is 56. Dave Grohl, 48. Jason Bateman, 48.
Dave Grohl's a poser?
No, I think he's a talented musician.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When he sings, there's not a stance
right
that he needs to be in.
I understand that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem in love with the sound of his own voice, kind of.
Yeah. I get what you're coming from.
LL Cool J, 49. Carl Weathers is 69. Skrillex is 29. And today's Burton birthday of the day is a comedian with a purty mustache. And yes, it is true, Rizz. We do wish that the world, we do think that the world would be a better place if everyone walked around with a pocket full of confetti. Rip Taylor, 82 years young today.
Two
You know
first
Rip?
names.
I do not know. I do not know Rip.
I run in Rip Circle.
I've enjoyed his work over the years.
Today's porno birthday, which is being brought to you by Patricia's, where fun and fantasy meet, is Jessica Valentino. And today's birthday girl would pass out if she had to blow out a candle for every dude that she slept with. And she's shown her skills in 121 fine films, including Daddy's Little Whore, Armpit Worship Volume 3, Panty Raid, Getting A's the Hard Way, Be My Bitch Volume 5, Face Invaders Volume 2.
Can't get past Daddy's Little Whore.
And you might like this one then. And who can forget her unforgettable role in Sorry Daddy, Whitezilla Broke Me. Jessica Valentino, 28 years old. That's your porno birthday, your crappy birthday, and that is your crap on celebrities.
I want to thank Mr. Kevin Pollak for coming in.
Thank you all so much.
Out
What a great way to start my day. Thank you.
with the porno birthday,
It was a pleasure.
See him at Helium Comedy Club. 2 shows tonight, hopefully, and 2 shows tomorrow. HeliumComedy.com is the website.
Thank you.
And what else you got to plug? Anything else? Download his
yeah,
movie.
check out The Late Bloomer on Netflix. Yeah.
I watched. It's a podcast that you do, right?
Yes.
There's like a
Kevin
video.
Pollak's chat show.
Yeah, there's like a video stream that I've watched a few
on
times.
YouTube. Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah, it's long form, one-on-one. Everyone from Jon Hamm, of course.
St. Louis' own
but
Jon Hamm.
Elon Musk.
but
Larry David, Tom Hanks. We had like 2-hour interview.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but a 2-hour interview
Damn.
will go by, and you feel, and when it's over, you're like, oh my god, that was
That's
2
it?
hours. It felt like 25 minutes. It's a really good
Kevin
flow.
Pollak's chat show on YouTube.
It's
Mr.
good.
Kevin Pollak, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
right. Final break
you,
of the
dude.
morning. We'll come back with the real or fake results.